So we're back. We're back sitting in a pile of clothes again. I feel like I did this just a couple months ago. I have a pile of clothes here and then all these clothes here as well that I need to put away. And it's almost like deja vu. So let's rewind. So this time, instead of doing a closet clean out, we are doing a closet catalog. And yes, this would have saved me so much time if I had just done this last time when I had all of my clothes out. But alas, I did not realize that this was actually a thing until a couple of weeks ago. So I have had a really busy start to my summer already. We had 2 back-to-back weekend trips, and I just felt like I was spending so much time picking out my outfits and trying to decide what to wear because A, I want to look cute on vacation, and B, I want to make sure that I'm packing versatile pieces in case plans change or weather changes or I decide that I just don't like the outfit that I brought. So I was just spending a lot of time online looking at other people's capsule wardrobes and just getting a lot of inspiration, and I ended up coming across this Reddit post where this woman had the most beautiful like outfit flat lays for this 3-day business trip that she was going on. And as I was going through comments trying to figure out how this woman did this, I came across one comment that mentioned the app Index, where you could basically upload pictures of the items in your closet and have like a digital wardrobe. So that of course sent me down a rabbit hole, and I ended up downloading several different digital wardrobe apps, but I only kept 3 of them on my phone. So currently I have Wearing, Index, and Open Wardrobe. All of them have pretty much the same basic functionalities, but I think that Wearing is really cool because they allow you to kind of analyze your wardrobe even in the free version, and it also has some like different ways to kind of help you pick out different outfits. And then Open Wardrobe is nice because they do have like a desktop website, so that's probably really handy for if you are doing a lot of screen grab from like online and you don't have to like worry about doing it on your phone. But I found that Index was the most aesthetically pleasing in terms of like the layout and everything, and they also had a really good background remover, especially compared to Wearing. So that's the one that I ended up picking and kind of like utilizing the most. And I realized that as I was like researching more on YouTube, like basically everyone on YouTube uses Index. So I don't know, that was interesting. TBD on whether or not I continue using this app in the future. I am planning on saving all of my pictures, so if I ever want to transition to a different app, that'll be a lot easier. I'm not sure that I'll get through all of my clothes. I'm just starting with my short sleeve tops for now. But hopefully we can get at least a good chunk of my summer clothes done today, and then that way we can start planning outfits and tracking wears with my summer clothes. So I finally finished all of the tops. I spent some time last weekend kind of playing around with the app, and so I already uploaded a bunch of my pictures that I could find from like purchases that I've made recently. So a lot of times brands will like put a flat lay picture at the end. So if you scroll all the way to the end of all the pictures, there's a flat lay one, and I just took a screenshot of that and then I uploaded it to the app. But for the ones that I couldn't track down any photos of, I am just like taking pictures of it now. And I feel like I have a couple of like tips and tricks for doing it. So one thing that they always tell you to do is like have like a good backdrop, whether like it's a towel or something. I personally just picked a white backdrop because I feel like that's probably easiest to kind of see the clothes on. And I literally just laid down like 2 pillowcases on the floor, and that's what I'm using as my backdrop. The other thing that they always tell you to do is to make sure that you have like good natural lighting, that it's not like too one-sided or anything. And so I have a window over here and that's bringing in some natural lighting. And then I think like the last thing is like, I guess there's like different tips that you could do for like laying out the clothes. You don't necessarily want to like pull out all of like the pant legs or like the sleeves of like a long sleeve jacket or shirt or something like that. You kind of want it to like lay in almost like a square shape if you can. Like dresses and things, you want it to kind of look like how it might look on a person. So sometimes it's like artificially creating some like creases or like wrinkles and things like that. So there's like different tips and tricks there. I feel like I'm not super good at that stuff. But one thing that I did find out is that when I was like experimenting with uploading pictures of my own to Index, I realized that a lot of the images were looking really dark, and it was because there were all these shadows that were in my pictures. Even though I was like shooting in natural lighting, there's still like so many shadows. So the thing that I started doing was I turned on my flash, and I feel like that helped a lot. So it helped to really brighten up photos and also just eliminate some of those shadows, which you could do in like post-production of like the photo if you really wanted to, like on your phone, even like just like turning up the shadows so that it lessens the effect of it. But I feel like that didn't look quite as good as if I just did flash photography, I guess. And you can totally do it on your phone. I decided to take out my old camera because I feel like this flash is a little bit better than the flash on my phone. And I think that like the professionals, they have like a light box, kind of just like light the scene, if you will, and just make sure that the light is evenly distributed and that there's no unwanted shadows. That is my tip for anyone that is wanting to digitally catalog their photos, is to use flash, because I feel like the photos turn out way better with flash versus without. And then the other thing that I've done for some things is I have like taken pictures with my phone, and on like Samsung there is like an AI feature that you can use. So you just like circle your item and then it'll like kind of search for images, and you can look and see if there's like a better like professionally taken image of an item that is similar. And I have done that for a couple of items, or so like my basics, or like if it's like a purse or something that I'm like, my photo is not going to be as good as a professional photo on someone's website. So that is what I've done as well. Now that I finished my short sleeve t-shirts, I'm moving on to shorts. It's getting really hot in here. Oh, my back hurts. Oh. So another thing that I've noticed with taking the flat lays using flash is you kind of have to be cognizant of how far away from the item you are, because sometimes if you're too close, it affects kind of the color of the item and kind of makes it uneven across the clothing. So you do have to kind of like maybe take a step back sometime and redo the photo, and then sometimes it looks a lot better than if you're doing it close up. Okay, now that we have got all these pictures in, I still have not done my entire wardrobe. I think it's just gonna take me a couple of weeks to do everything because I have so many clothes. Like I already have almost 50 items in here, and I have not really even started putting in the pictures that I took today. These are all just like new things slash things that I tracked down from before. So I feel like this is going to be a really, really long process. It is making me feel like I need to pare down my closet quite a bit because I just have way too many clothing items. One thing about Index is that you can only upload things one at a time, and there are no AI features to kind of like help speed up that process, like help you identify where it's from, or like what tags to put, or even the color or anything. So that does make the process of like entering things in a little bit slower. However, it's still pretty seamless. I have already imported all of my photos from my camera onto my phone. So when you are trying to add your items in, I usually like to take the pictures first and then add them in. So you can pick which photo you want to do, and then you just enter the information. So I forgot what brand this was. And then you pick what category it is and what subcategory, and then colors is optional and size is also optional as well. And then when you go in there, you can add in more information afterwards. So like how many times you've worn it, when you purchased it. I'm gonna have to go back and look how much you purchased it for and where you purchased it. And then you can also put in more information as well and then tag it for different things. So this process doesn't take too terribly long once you have the photos. So somehow I already have 91 items and I've not even gotten to my outerwear, my winter clothes, or any of that kind of stuff. So we have got a pretty good start here. We have plenty of items to choose from. And I also started creating some outfits and I'm really excited for it. I just love how you can lay it out like this and really see. So you can also create packing lists on here. So for when we go to Europe later this year, if I just want to add all of the outfits, it'll add all of my outfits there. And then all of the items show up in the packing list, and that just makes things so much easier to figure out what I was gonna wear and like some inspo. I still want to do like sort of capsule wardrobe type things for when I travel, but that'll just give me some more inspiration and ideas for mixing and matching, and also like actually creating a packing list and not just like spending hours like going back and forth from my closet to the mirror and like trying on different stuff. I feel like this is a much more efficient way of doing things than my previous system, so I'm really excited for that. I think I've definitely gotten off to a good start. If you are currently using a digital wardrobe app, please let me know which one you're using and what you like about it, because I feel like there has to be kind of a better way to do this than this like really tedious process of taking pictures, and then also sometimes the pictures not turning out exactly how I wanted them to. Like I feel like it doesn't do the item justice. I've kind of tried to do some things to mitigate that, like the flash and everything, but sometimes they still don't turn out like the same color as in person and things like that, which obviously like these are all things in my closet, so I should know what color they are, but I just feel like there's a big difference between the pictures that I've taken and the pictures that other professionals have taken. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.